Hey everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to paint watercolor baked goods. Specifically, I'm going to show you how to paint a croissant. But you'll be able to use the same method to paint things like breads and baguettes. Let's get started. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using the Sublime Watercolor pack and the cold pressed canvas that is included in the pack. Everything will be linked below. As for my sketch, you can download it and insert it like this. The sketch is inserted and you can see it here. Let me zoom in and we'll make a new layer on top so that we can start to paint. As for the color, we'll start with a very light brown. And we'll be using the bold rough brush. And for the first step, we're just going to roughly color the entire croissant, and it's best to leave some blank spaces here and there because this croissant painting will be kind of rough looking and loosely colored. Some watercolor paintings tend to have that look. So the first layer is now colored, and we're going to make a new layer and pick out a slightly darker brown, a darker one than the last one, and we're just going to paint over the croissant one more time and in the same method. It's just like real watercolor, how everything starts off from light and then we move up to darker colors. At this point, you can get the basic blender and blend out harsh edges and lines so that it fits in more seamlessly and looks more soft. And then we'll make a new layer and repeat the same step but with a darker brown. This method is good for items that use the same color family but still need a little bit of variation to create depth and texture. Again, we'll make a new layer for the next color, so getting a little bit more deeper now. At this point, I want to use the basic blender to soften these lines. And I'm also going to go back to the previous layers to soften some of the lines there as well. Once you're happy with the blending, you can make a new layer to add another layer of color strokes. This time I'm going to choose a reddish brown and add some strokes here and there. You can use a very dark brown to indicate folds within the pastry. Of course, you will want to blend it out a bit. If it's looking too bold, you can lower the opacity like this. If you're pretty content with how the croissant is looking, you can merge all of the layers together, and we're going to make a new layer on top and make that a clipping mask. Now we're going to start using some stamps. We'll start off with this splotch right here, and we'll pick a darker brown, and you can experiment with the colors. We'll use the stamps here and there to make the croissant have that watercolor look. Make it look authentic as possible. Loose watercolor pieces tend to have more blooms and watermarks, so please feel free to try out other stamps and use it in the painting. I'm now going to use the single drop stamp, and as you can see, this one is quite bold, so you have to really adjust the color to make it fit into the painting. At this point, I would like to slightly change the color of the croissant, so what we're going to do is ensure that you're on the croissant layer and go to Hue, Saturation, and Brightness and toggle the hue as well as the saturation back and forth until you are happy with it. So that's it, guys. Super easy, right? You can utilize the exact same painting method to paint cookies, breads, and other baked goods. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe and give it a like. Please tag me on Instagram if you have tried painting something from my tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.